Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you all back to another episode of Disco Elysium. Last we left off, we had a nice talk with Joyce here, like a very long, I almost said physical, long philosophical talk that kinda also branched off into politics. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there is actually a class in colleges that deals specifically with the philosophy of politics. So, shrug. Again, two things I don't like, politics and philosophy. Woohoo, they combine it together to make it something even worse. No, but seriously, before I continue on, I will say do expect every now and again, these days, I will be maybe skipping a day or two. Um, Great news about that, though, and good reason. I am almost done with my classes. I'm almost done torturing myself the third time around with college classes. Quick explanation. The first time was to get my degree in English, and then it went nowhere, so then I decided to get my master's in education. Well, the pandemic destroyed that right when I graduated, so this is the third go around. Third time's the charm, as they say, so, But yes, so I'm getting ready to graduate from my classes and all that, so things are going to get a little bit wonky. I'll try to at least post an episode or two every, an episode or two a week, but between that and, work and more work, it's gonna get a bit busy, so I apologize in advance for any other breaks in between. It's not, it's intentional, but with good reason. That said, I would like to talk to you, Joyce.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I think it was more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
More lessons in basic reality. She's positively surprised. I guess she's learning to enjoy the discussions we have. I don't know. Shrug. This one, conceptualization. Oh god, that's insane. Esprit core 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's try it.
It remains a
Yeah.
mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality.
And you know what? Why the heck? Wait a minute. Do I have anything? Yeah, bye. Do I have anything that raises conceptualization? Oh. I think I literally gave everything for myself. I gave everything on both. Oh, wait. No, that's fine. Wait, no. You put that on, because this shirt is a -1 to suggestion. I don't like... Wait. Oh, you're a jacket. Ooh. Never mind. Well... Will it matter then? I don't know. Let me give that a try. I don't think it'll matter in the long run, but shrug. Honestly, shrug. You never know. Conceptualization. Nothing else is great. Okay, and try.
You're back. More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
I'm amazed that actually made a difference. Now I just need an 11 or 12. It increased my odds. Yay.
What if
Oh my god!
of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
Oh, thank you, white satin jacket, for giving me this conceptualization. I get the difficult one, but I missed the easier one. Easier in quotes. So, you know what? I'll take it. I will take it and run. I did not expect to get that. I really did not. Oh my god, look at that. Oh, it's like those it's like those D&D campaigns where it's like the dungeon master is like, I don't expect you to break down this door because it'll fast forward the story so hard. So I'm gonna in the background make it into a skill check difficult 30. Like it's impossible basically. And then the character rolls is like 30. I'm sorry, not 30. Natty 20 is like, oh, you're kidding me. All right, break down the door. Now you're in trouble. You just skipped 10 hours of dialogue. Oh, What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
Antipode. The only place I know the word antipode was from Chrono Trigger, Luca and Maro's special. Antipode 1, Antipode 2. What is antipode? I gotta look that up. What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Huh. Elysium. I suppose the world does need some kind of term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
And why's that? What does it entail?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
Petrofascists?
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
But why?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways? Then exactly what kind of shape is the world, then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revolgrad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Wait. What? What are you telling me?
You seem to be spooked. Please don't be.
Her voice becomes homely, calm. She lets a moment pass. Wait. Are you saying this world, this game world, is not round? That basically in this world, the flat earth conspirators are correct? Is that what you're saying? That this place is the home of flat earth conspirators? We used to think it was a sphere, but that's beginning to look less and less likely. And then something about pale covers 72% of the surface, gray flares and prominences, arcs above entire isolas, images blurry, but if there was a sphere, it would fracture. Yeah, what do you mean by corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Well, I kind of have to go against you there. I mean, you are right about it sounding naive. I can't imagine when the people hear of a fractured corona that they're just gonna come together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you're gonna describe it as disco.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
So, you mentioned the pale earlier, when talking about all this. What's pale?
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
But I don't want to. I kind of do want to know what the pale is.
I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He has already been so patient with this whole exercise. Let's continue with something else, all right?
Ooh.
You can ask about anything else in the world. Anything.
You could sneak back later when the lieutenant is not here, unless you can convince him to step aside.
I could. I mean, at least here I can see that Kim trusts me. I could. You know, the reason why I'm doing all this now with her is because I remember when it said that we talked to her about, once we talked to her about Everard Claire's plans, some discussion points are gonna go away. So I'm doing this now. Riveting gameplay, isn't it? Boy, it's like, but no, really, every time I talk to Joyce, it's like a whole ass can of worms. Whole ass can of worms opening. It's like, well, I suppose I could. I just need to 4 or 5. I have some volition. Yes. I'll talk to you later. I have some volition that I can hopefully... Okay, yeah. Here, take that. What is that? Oh, fair weather. Oh, really? +1, volition. Damn. Anything else that gives me volition? I'm sure there's something that does. I can't imagine needing concept... Wait, never mind. Oh, God, what do you do? I'm like, hey, what button I press? I don't think I need... Oh, dang it. Oh, that literally is the jacket. Oh, I'm so stupid. Put on a spirit decor, a spirit decor and shivers, please. Thank you. What was I looking for again? Oh, volition. Jesus, Did I tell you that I suck sometimes? Anyway, not really. Where is the volition? I have nothing that deals with volition. Really? I only had that dealt with volition? Oh, wait a minute. No. 8-eye Teratorn tie. Oh! Why am I just keeping that then? I could have used this and kept my... That's idiotic. There we go. That was me being stupid. I did not think of that. And that should take care of everything. Does anything I have get rid of volition? No. Everything is fine enough. Minus savoir faire +1. Electrochemist. Whatever. Okay. Let's give it the good old college try here. Oh, and by the way, do I have... Oh, yeah, I remember now. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I totally can. So, I remember I was bemoaning how terrible White Morning is. I mean, I can see it working with the Motorix cap, but my only issue is I haven't really leveled up anything. Which is fair, because I said I'm saving the points in case I want to do a check, but it's failing miserably every time for no reason. Then I can just point here, point there. So I suppose in that respect, the Motorix would help, since, like, if I had perception and I messed up 6 times somehow, I have 6 more chances to re-roll. So I suppose in that respect it's fine. I'll go ahead and unlock you. Yes, please, because I have 7 points. I gained 2 from talking to Joyce, so... And there was something that they said that I should really look into. I forgot what it was. Bankruptcy, business, gutter, soup. No, Wumpty Dumpty. Je m'en veux? Was it Je m'en veux? Yes. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts. The one that you must truly complete. Okay. Je m'en veux. Derealization. I don't know if I read it, but I'll read it now. Revachol Special Administration Region, Le Caillou, the Insulindian Ocean, Coalition Government, Insulindian Mission Command. Name after name after name, and none of them familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Trouvant, the Apricot Company, World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corners. See if they peel loose. It feels like this is the most important of all the thoughts, the one you truly must complete. Well, let's do it. There's no research penalty for studying it, so let's do it. And let's see what it entails in quite possibly 2 episodes later. I should have done that at the beginning, but I forgot about it, and then, like, you know, talking to Joyce, whatever.
You're back. Good. What can I help you
Blah, 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 reality.
Lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
So 6, 7... I need a... Oh, I literally just need a 3. Okay, so Snake Eyes will kill me. I swear, I say it now, and if it comes up, I'm going to laugh so incredulously.
Good idea.
Oh, good.
Just ask him. He won't make a scene.
Kim, do you mind if I talk to the man alone for a second?
Fine.
He steps away with his notes.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Alright. Now that my partner's away, what is the pail?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
Yes, I'm sure. What is the pale?
Okay. The pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
And what exactly is an isola?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7.
Hey, the 7 continents of the world! I don't know. Well, okay, in this world's version, we're probably in Europe because Revachol and Montagnais, the mother language seems to be a French dialect, for sure. So probably we're in Europe.
Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is...
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
An oceanic isola comprises mostly of what? Okay, so maybe not Europe? Maybe Australia? Because Australia is composed mostly of water. Cough, cough. Katla the coldest. Quite possibly Antarctica. Mundi as the largest. That would be... Asia? Because Asia is the largest. Insulinde the bluest. Okay, I can't imagine what Insulinde... Well, we are Insulinde, so yeah, we're... Okay. That would be my guess if I were to compare it with the real world. It's like Muindi is the largest, so that's going to be Asia, Katla, Antarctica. And what's the pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
And is it here, around us?
No, detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
And, up north there?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
You know, I just came up with a thought. Is this the game's way of describing the outer borders that you cannot cross to visit other realms? And it's like, you're only contained here. Is that what it's trying to do? Because if so, if that really is what they're trying to do, then that's quite interesting that they actually, to a degree, personified the boundaries of the world and explain why you can't leave. I mean, yes, we can't leave the city of Martinaise itself, yes, but just assume that you could leave Martinaise and explore the entirety of Insulinde. You can't go any further than Insulinde because of this thing, this coronal mist. I suppose the best way to compare it to with another video game is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, where you had to travel throughout the world, being protected by the poisonous mist called the miasma, while trying to revitalize your town's crystal to protect another year from the deadly effects of the miasma. So, same idea, because all the regions are separated by this deadly mist. I wonder if that's what they're trying to go for there. Personify the invisible boundary that prevents you from really journeying further out into the world. Where, as such, all you have to learn, the only way you can learn about the world is through spoken word like this. That's true. That is amazing. I like it. And what are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
There's a slippery article in there.
So, is it the Pale or Pale?
Pale when it's particular, this territory of Pale. The Pale when it's pale in its entirety. Once you've seen it, language balks at the difference.
Pale when it's particular, such as this territory of Pale. The Pale when... I see what you're saying. So, just saying Pale is describing a particular section. The Pale is the whole entire thing. It's hard to imagine something like that. I mean, now I pride myself in being able to imagine things from what people say and try to create the world, expand the world of the video game in my head. I can't conceptualize the Pale. I mean, I know what it's talking about, and again, going into the example of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, I get the idea, but I can't visualize the Pale. I just can't. So, if we're surrounded by Pale, how does one get around from Isola to Isola? That's also another major question in my mind. How do you do that? Because as you say, the further you go in, the steeper the degree of suspension. Where speech, language, physical, scientific, it just suspends. It just stops. How does one travel How does one travel through something that eventually makes everything stop?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
Yeah, because we've been at war. Does the Pale exist before the war or after the war? If it's after, it sounds like it's something man-made. If it's before, how is anyone traveling, connecting with one another?
It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
Oh my god. You know what? I remember I discussed when they were talking about like the videotape cassette computer. It's like, sounds like something from the old days. Why would why would a place that went to war and looks like it's actually kind of able to be more technologically advanced have machines that would be touted as state of the art but not really sounding state of the art, like a tape cassette computer flash drive. But now that I hear about the Pale, it's starting to make sense. The thing about technological advancement is you communicate with the rest of the world to bounce ideas off one another and to test out theories. But if each Isola is only self-containing itself to a degree because of the Pale, and only testing things out within their region, and of course trying, and sometimes I'm sure failing, to communicate with others outside as well, that would kind of explain how I said a few episodes ago that Martinez kind of feels like a Cuba situation with communism kind of putting certain aspects of life in a standstill, aka the vehicles. They all have the like 60s, 70s feel or something. That would kind of put into mind what I'm talking about then. Not necessarily not necessarily about communism, but more about the isolation from other nations, other territories. So each Isola is isolated, for the most part, from everyone else because of the Pale. You can travel through, but it is not. I suppose you could say it's like 1600. Well, not even 1600. Yeah, well, 1600s. The world is the 1600s. Yeah, you had boats and you can travel from here to there and yada yada. But to exactly travel somewhere is quite difficult. It's not like now where it's like, okay, hire a plane, let's move all my stuff over to Japan. I'll be there in 2 days and then at my new house. No, it's 1600s. You wanted to travel somewhere? Oh god. Don't even think about carrying your entire life with you unless you can afford a wagon. So, yeah, it's like segregation, but not by human design. It's by the world's design. That is very interesting. And how exactly can the Pale damage the mind?
Extensively.
Yes, but how?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
What?
Who says and who argues?
So, who is saying this, and who's arguing about it?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
That is like some... To quote Doctor Who, which I just recently got into, some timey-wimey stuff here. I never thought I would say that, but I think that's the best way I can describe it. It's like some weird, timey-wimey stuff. So, when you go into the Pale, the longer you stay in there, the more, what's the word I'm looking for? The more, not oppressed. Oh god. Exposed. The more exposed you are to events of the past, to the knowledge of the past, to the point that if we're to make comparisons again to a movie, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, the psychic lady, I want to know, no more, stop, that kind of idea, that you keep gaining information to the point that your mind can't handle it anymore. Wow, that, some timey-wimey, psychic thought processes thing going on here. Jeez, this is... What are we talking about now? Joyce, what are we talking about? I can see why you like this topic now. It's so interesting to hear about it. And I can see the fact that you know so much, you must have studied on this topic to hell, girl. And what does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of pale exposure per year.
Oh god.
It's more for her. Way more.
You say civilian. I'm assuming that you're not a civilian passenger.
No, Lieutenant Dubois. I'm entreprenetic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of pale transit annually.
Train? Well, that's fair considering what I was talking. How did you train for something like that, though? God.
Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well. The strange grey-haired woman in her lorry.
Oh my god, you know what? That is possible. She seems very... like, she's coherent, yet stuck in the past. Do you know if lorry drivers ever pass the Pale?
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
Huh.
You should ask the Pale driver about this. See what she says.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
An acidic smile on her lips. It's getting worse every year.
I can imagine with all the traveling you do. That I suppose that will kind of explain why you know a lot about certain things like this. You're getting irradiated with information from the past. And yet, is that why you can't sleep? Is that why you can't sleep? Because I'm making so many comparisons to popular to real world media here. It's like that. I forgot what time was it, 80s, 90s. There's a movie called Phenomenon. A man gets struck by lightning. At least I think it was lightning, and then he gains an intense amount of knowledge. So much knowledge, in fact, that he can't stop thinking. It's consuming his every waking hours. He can't sleep. Is this what's happening to her? She's getting irradiated with all this knowledge of the past, then now she's an insomniac. She can't sleep. Huh. Boy, girl. And what is entroponetic? I think you mentioned that earlier?
Entreponetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
6,000 years. Damn. Okay, never mind. It wasn't because of the war. This has just been a part of the world. It's like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. The miasma has been here for as long as you remember. It's a way of life.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west. It was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
And did they cross it? The Western Plain, I mean.
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
And what has entroponetics changed then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic crafts?
Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale.
Wait. Run that by me again? Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference from a... Oh, I see. Yeah. The Pale suspends the laws of physics. So, once you get to a certain point, you get no more velocity. You're not moving. Huh.
In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add yada yada yada. Once you crossed from near hybrid airships, aerostatic. So what are you using to throw the ship from one end to the other? So, and if you don't,
Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
oh, that's horrific. That's horrific to think. So, if that slingshot action basically falls short. Oh god. You're basically stuck there forever, I guess, huh? Gone like a skipping stone beneath the surface. It falls into the water, never to be oh god, that's so risky. It's like... Comparison again. Stargate Universe, the final episode. I'm not going to mention what happened for those of you who had never watched it or are currently watching it, but it's like the last episode. Oh. So, how much Pale is there compared to the rest of the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
2 to 1? And slipping how? To our detriment, or...
What do you think, Detective?
She looks you in the eye. It's growing, isn't it? There's more and more of the Pale.
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
Cover everything? But that can't be. I mean, where exactly would we go?
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, jeez. I mean, yeah, in a sense, the real world also has its days numbered. This planet has its days numbered. We just don't know when that will be, and we have all these extremists saying the end of the world based on the Mayan calendar is 2300 AD, you know, all that. But we don't know when the end is. And same idea here. We don't know when the end of the world for this game is. But the Pale was documented at least 6,000 years ago, and 6,000 years later to current times, the Pale has grown. So society is slowly being consumed. Yeah, I suppose that's fair. Society is slowly being consumed by nature. Slowly. No matter how hard people try to learn how to travel through the Pale. Wow, this... Joyce, I love talking to you. You always give me lots of talking points and you make me think. You really do, Joyce. I love that. I love her as a character. She makes me think. Okay, let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
Well, I do sometimes sense, like, vague shadows of a past, and, I'll be honest, it's not good.
Then tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
An anti-communist force? No. I mean, it's not an well, I suppose it could be an anti-communist force in the sense that once the Pale has grown to a point that almost the entire world is finished, maybe people will start, trying to work together to survive? Ugh. I mean, I will be worried. It doesn't sound very liberal. Oh my god. How is that not? Okay, you know what? I'm not even gonna go on that end. I don't know how you all survive with it. It's a huge accomplishment. Oh no, it really is. Like, for all this time? Well, how I think of the Pale, concerning what you told me, how we've managed to find ways to travel from one Isola to the other as safely as possible, that we can even do it better even than our forefathers from 6,000 years ago. This is a testament to our faith in one another. I really believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes tense. Crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
Your ailing constitution, sweaty forehead, the beads there, and your heavy breathing.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
She stops mid-sentence. No, I promise you I'll handle it. I'll make sure that this investigation will be my master priest. The one they remember me by. I promise you that.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile, you have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
She gives you a slight bow.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
Oh, Kim, thanks, but you needn't have worried, you know.
But I did. Anyway.
He looks around, a little uncomfortable now.
Damn it, you're a grown man, the lieutenant thinks. Shouldn't have gotten protective hair.
You know what? Abrasive Music, my friend, Abrasive Music, he was right. There is totally undertones of bisexuality between Harry Dubois and Kim. There totally is. Oh, and I'm here for it. Okay, well, bisexuality from Harry's point of view, because he was canonically married to his wife and now divorced. So from Harry's point of view, bisexuality. Kim, I don't think I've heard anything about his relationship, so I can't say for sure, but to be as generic as possible, we'll say bisexual for him as well, because we don't know anything about him. At least I don't at this moment. So to be very general and to avoid labeling, we'll just say bisexual until we're proven otherwise with Kim. I don't know if we ever will. I'm kind of hoping we don't get proven one way or the other, because I like that ambiguity. It's like, is he gay? Is he straight? Is he bisexual? I like that ambiguity with him, especially when he's this professional and we just don't know much about him except that he likes cars and he's very professional and very straight to the point. So we don't know much about him outside of work. So not knowing his sexuality here for me really adds on to that air of mystery around him. It's like, who is Kim Kitsuragi? You know, what is he? Oh, I really hope we don't learn that. I really hope so. Right. Let's get to work, Lieutenant.
Good luck, detectives.
She nods you goodbye. Well, that took... Yes, please autosave. That took a surprising amount of time. I am not going to lie. I am not going to lie. And, you know, guess what? I greatly appreciated that. I really did appreciate talking with Joyce and essentially learning so much. Just completely a lot. Again, it kind of stops me from talking to her again regarding, about, oh god, about Everard Claire's plans. Maybe I'll say that for another time then, because I don't want to spend another episode potentially talking to Joyce, and then it's like 3 straight episodes of just... For the last episode was like some psychological politics. Now we're talking about existential crisis of the world here, basically, with the Pale. If I talk to Joyce again in the next episode, it's going to be like, oh god, like company politics clashing at each other. Is like, I don't need another 40-minute episode with her. As much as I love to talk with her, I really do love talking with her, but now's not the time for 3 straight episodes. So next one, we'll try to do something very productive instead of this philosophical existential crisis timey-wimey discussion. Oh god, and I made so many references in this episode. I can't believe I had all those references in my head, just able to pull out. It's insane. And then again, I surprise myself sometimes. Later, everyone.